What is going on, guys? For football fans, it is so easy to only pay attention to the first 2 or 3 rounds of the draft. Everything from the 4th round and beyond is really just a lottery ticket for the most part, but everybody strikes gold once in a while. Here are the 10 potential hidden gems who were taken in the later rounds of the 2020 NFL Draft. Number 10, Anthony McFarland Jr. The Pittsburgh Steelers have never failed to find some big-time hidden gems at running back and receiver. The rushing game took a significant step back in 2019, but with McFarland now in the fold, things should return to normal. Pittsburgh drafted the Maryland running back in the 4th round, 124th overall. He should provide some juice for a team that recorded the 4th fewest rushing yards in 2019, recording just 90.4 per game. Over his 2 seasons at Maryland, McFarland posted 1,648 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. Not the jaw-dropping numbers compared to other grade backs, but who cares? If the talent is there, and believe me, it is, the Steelers will find a way to maximize it. Pittsburgh turned James Conner and Jalen Samuels into productive players following Le'Veon Bell's ugly departure. But the coaching staff doesn't seem confident in either of those 2 guys as their lead back of the future. And to McFarland, who'll be given every chance to get the starting reps, and with one of the league's elite offensive lines to help out. We should not be surprised that the Steelers just found their next 1,000-yard rusher here. Number 9, James Morgan. 2018 first-round pick Sam Darnold had a woeful rookie season, and he didn't make the leaps that the New York Jets faithful hoped for in 2019. In case he doesn't pan out, well, the Jets now have a potential replacement to work around in James Morgan. GM Joe Douglas took the Florida International quarterback in the 4th round, 125th overall. He should have gone earlier, but a few quarterback-needy teams had already addressed the position. Morgan's numbers in college weren't eye-popping, especially while he was at Bowling Green State, but he displayed plenty of maturity and growth in his 2 years with the Golden Panthers. Morgan performed nicely with a limited supporting cast. In 2019, Florida International had 0 700-yard receivers. Nobody caught more than 5 touchdown passes. So just imagine what Morgan could do in an offense with Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell, and fellow rookie Denzel Sims. And hey, maybe Morgan is the guy that finally makes Adam Gase look like the quarterback's guru that many hyped him up to be. If Darnold continues to struggle here in 2020, you really shouldn't be shocked if the Jets give Morgan a look. And do not be overly surprised if he outperforms Darnold. Morgan's skill set cannot be overlooked here. Number 8, Bradlee Anae. The Dallas Cowboys had perhaps the best draft among all 32 NFL clubs, at least according to many early calculations. Obviously, getting CD Lamb with the 17th pick was the steal of round 1. Landing Alabama corner Trevon Diggs with the 51st pick was, well, perhaps the steal of round 2. But of course, the steals didn't end there. The Cowboys got excellent value in the 5th round, where they took Utah defensive end Bradlee Anae in the 179th slot. The 2019 Morris Trophy winner, given annually to the best offensive lineman and defensive lineman in the Pac-12 Conference, recorded 13 sacks. He had 14.5 combined tackles over the 2017 and 2018 seasons. Anae adds more beef to one of the league's best front sevens, led by Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, and DeMarcus Lawrence. New head coach Mike McCarthy and defensive coordinator Mike Nolan should be able to maximize Anae's skill set. Anae made serious leaps as he progressed in college, and now he joins the ideal system, with a team that develops its pass rushers better than most. Don't be surprised if Anae is a future multi-time Pro Bowler. The upside is very high. Number 7, Danny Pinter. Remember when the Indianapolis Colts had the worst offensive line in the league from 2015 to 2017, and then GM Chris Ballard and head coach Frank Reich turned it into the NFL's best for the 2018 season. So do we. And it was excellent again in 2019. That bodes very well for Danny, whom the Colts drafted 149th overall in round 5. The nice thing about him is that he's capable of playing at both center and guard. That versatility will be nice on an O-line that already includes first-team All-Pro Quentin Nelson and veteran standout Anthony Costanzo. Danny is going to a well-coached and superbly managed team that knows how to get the most out of their offensive linemen. There simply wasn't a better possible fit for Pinter here. The Colts were lucky to have him fall to them, and it was one of the absolute deepest drafts ever for offensive linemen. Still, he shouldn't have dropped this far in the draft. 31 other teams will regret helping the Colts strengthen what was already an incredible strength for them. His excellent athleticism and brute force will be greatly appreciated by newcomer Phillip Rivers, so bank on it. Number 6, Kenny Willekes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's hard for anybody to get excited over 7th round draft selections, but Minnesota Vikings fans should have their eyes set on this guy. This guy could very well emerge as one of the greatest 7th round picks of the 2020s. The 2018 Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year and 2019 Burlsworth Trophy winner was drafted in the 7th round, 225th overall. The stud defensive end out of Michigan State might even start in his rookie year. The Vikings decided to rebuild their defense through the draft after moving on from several starters, including former Pro Bowl corner Trey Waynes and veteran pass rusher Everson Griffin. The latter left a huge void on the mini D-line, so this guy will get every chance to try and fill the holes. That's what she said. This guy was an absolute beast in college. He posted 18 total sacks over his final 2 seasons, including 10 in his senior year. He will be guided by Mike Zimmer, one of the game's most brilliant defensive-minded head coaches. His pass rushers are always ultra-productive, and he could very well offset the lost production from Griffin. A guy with his talents shouldn't ever be a 7th round pick. Very surprising to see him fall all the way to the final round. Not that the Vikings are complaining. Number 5. James Proche. The Baltimore Ravens once again ruled the draft weekend. LSU linebacker Patrick Queen, Ohio State running back J.K. Dobbins, and Texas wideout Devin Duvernay should all enjoy productive and impactful tenures in Baltimore. But don't let those 3 picks overshadow the 6th round selection of SMU wideout James Proche. The 2-time first-team All-AAC selection somehow fell to Baltimore in the 201st slot. I think it's fair to say he would have gone much earlier if the 2020 draft class wasn't so deep at the receiver position. Proche had a monster sophomore year with 111 receptions for 1,225 yards and 15 touchdowns. He's quick and shifty, just like reigning MVP Lamar Jackson and top wideout Marquise Brown. Proche can also be a nice weapon in Baltimore's special teams department as a returner. The Ravens are the NFL's top drafting team. They always find great value in the later rounds. John Harbaugh will always make it work with whoever Eric DeCosta supplies him with. Proche, at the very least, can be a reliable number 3 receiver and special teams regular in Baltimore. But I'm expecting much more from this draft day steal. Number 4. Bryce Hall. The New York Jets have wasted the early stages of Jamal Adams' prime by offering him 0 help in the secondary. They finally addressed that weakness at the draft, plucking Virginia corner Bryce Hall with the 158th selection in round 5. Hall has the size and overall football IQ you want in a starting corner. He was heavily overlooked in this corner-heavy draft, but he's going to be an instant upgrade over most other defensive backs the Jets have used over the last 5 or so years. Teams are obviously scared of drafting Hall due to a season-ending ankle injury he suffered in 2019. But don't forget he was a second-team All-American selection in 2018. We're not here to say that Hall will emerge as a Pro Bowl corner, but he could very well be one of the final pieces to help this Jets defense regain its swagger from the Rex Ryan years. There are already so many pieces in place with Adams, CJ Mosley, and Quinnen Williams. Can Hall be the finishing touch? His performance in 2018 suggests it's possible. Number 3, Harrison Bryant. We'll try not to fault Cleveland Browns fans and analysts who didn't like this pick. The Browns signed Austin Hooper to a $42 million contract in free agency to pair him up with David Njoku. So why load up with 3 tight ends? Especially when you have 2 Pro Bowl wideouts in Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. Well, sometimes you just have to take a potential hit in gem when he's available. That's what new Browns GM Andrew Berry did here, and he may have struck gold. The Florida Atlantic product won the 2019 John Mackey Award after racking up 65 receptions for 1,004 yards and 7 touchdowns. This wasn't the deepest class for tight ends, but Bryant stands a legitimate chance of emerging as the best one from the draft. The 2019 unanimous first-team All-American and 2-time first-team All-Conference USA selection is probably a better fit for Kevin Stefanski's offense than Njoku anyway. Bryant could very well become the number 1 or 2 tight end in Cleveland within the next few years. And hey, the Denver Broncos and Dallas Cowboys are receiving universal praise for loading up on offensive weapons for their quarterbacks. So even though the Browns rarely do anything right, it's hard to complain about this pick. Mayfield now has 5 legitimate pass-catching options, and that's not even including star running back Nick Chubb. We said this last year and regret it mightily, but the Browns might seriously be ready for a huge jump in 2020. And if they make that leap, you can bet that Bryant will have played a big role in it. Number 2, Amik Robertson. John Gruden and Mike Mayock received some criticism for taking Henry Ruggs over Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb, both of whom are more polished wide receiver prospects. But their reach for Ohio State corner Damon Arnett at 19 was arguably the worst pick of the entire draft. Time will tell if Arnett is worth the risk, but that's all for another day. In the meantime, Las Vegas Raiders fans need to know about 4th-round pick Amik Robertson, whom Gruden and Mayock took with the 139th selection. Robertson wasn't a household name in this cornerback-heavy draft class. Not that the Raiders are complaining. He flew right under the radar and landed right in their lap. the Louisiana Tech product racked up 14 interceptions over his 3 years of college. According to Pro Football Focus, Robertson only surrendered 9 receptions on 38 targets over his last 2 seasons. PFF's top-graded corner for the 2019 college football season also ranked first in these 4 categories: versus single coverage, versus obvious passing situations, versus clean pocket throws, and in contested catch situations. In other words, the Raiders may have found the game's next elite slot corner. Even if Arnett doesn't pan out, Robertson should instantly upgrade the Raiders' leaky secondary. Number 1, Jacob Eason. The player, the team, the coach, the system, everything checked off. This was an easy choice for us as the top hidden gem of the 2020 draft. The Washington quarterback was widely considered to be a top 5 quarterback in this class. Luckily for the Colts, most teams already had their signal callers before the draft, and the QB-needy teams got their guys in round 1, allowing Eason to slip to the Colts in the 4th round at 122nd overall. So now Eason gets to learn behind future Hall of Famer Phillip Rivers for at least 1 year, but very likely 2, and maybe even 3. He will be mentored by Reich, who helped Andrew Luck enjoy a career renaissance before his abrupt retirement. Eason will have everything he needs to succeed: a superb offensive line, the ideal coach and systems, and all these young weapons: Marlon Mack, Zach Pascal, Jonathan Taylor, Paris Campbell, and Michael Pittman Jr. Eason wasn't as polished as the likes of Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa, but his accuracy, delivery, and all-around athleticism are more than enough to make him a compelling prospect. We could be looking at the long-term future of the Colts, and we'll just leave it at that. What other hidden gems from the 2020 draft should we have included on our list? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. YouTube, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, we're on everything. TPS posts hilarious memes all the time. You gotta go check it out. Yeah, go follow us, go subscribe. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click down below, and subscribe to TPS because we post videos every day. Every day's a new video. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.